Well, this is Adzema, and welcome to the Fifth Prasad. Now, this is the Fifth Prasad of the Great Reveal by the Planetmates, from the Planetmates. Planetmates are, of course, everyone on this planet, besides, except, other than humans, all the other living creatures, all other life. All of the other life forms that we share this planet with. Alright, the Fifth Prasad goes like this. Starts out, your wordism. For example, while actually an aberration, a flaw in your reality perceptors, causing you to never really hear or understand each other, let alone other beings or forms of life energy, is touted as a supreme accomplishment! Exclamation point. Whereas your minds, suffused and distracted with a non-stop stream of nonsensical repetitions of word symbols, and imprison and isolate you in a world of swirling mental bookmarks of reality. Tagged to, but only dimly reflective of what's real. And those are in capital letters, what's real. And keeping you blind to the wondrous reality itself, in which other beings live in clarity of purpose and life meaning, direct intra and interspecies and inter-entity communication. And this you misconstrue as a benefit in awareness, while actually it serves to cover up your lack of knowledge of your meaning or reason for being, as well as the fear that abides with that. So, saying that our wordism is actually an aberration, it's a flaw, and it causes us to never really hear or understand each other or other beings or forms of life energy, and yet we tout it as a supreme accomplishment. It says, our minds are suffused and distracted with a non-stop stream of nonsensical repetitions of word symbols, and that these imprison and isolate us in a world of swirling mental bookmarks of reality, which are tagged to but only dimly reflective of what's real, and they keep us blind to the wondrous reality itself, in which other beings live in clarity of purpose and life meaning, with direct intra, that's between species, and within the species and between different species, and inter-entity communication, meaning between planetmates and other forms of life that are not planetmates. So they're saying there's other beings out there that we're not aware of. So they say that our wordism, we misconstrue our wordism, which they're using that as a substitute instead of language for language, and they're saying your language, what you call language, it's actually wordism, and that we're just living in a world of symbols, and that this wordism we misconstrue as a benefit in awareness, while actually it serves to cover up our lack of knowledge of our meaning or reason for being, as well as the fear that abides with that. In other words, the fear that abides with our lacking knowledge of our meaning or reason for being, which makes sense. So after all, isn't that the existential questions that we ask of ourselves that we don't have answers to? Is why are we here? Our meaning, our reason for being, and do we really know what the answers are? No. So, and is there not fear that abides with that? Well, ask Sartre or any of the existentialist philosophers. Of course, there's fear. That's why they say there would be existential anxiety. So yeah. And they're saying that they don't have this lack of knowledge of their meaning or reason for being. So they're saying they're different from us in that way. Okay, so that's the fifth prasad. Nothing more to say about it. Do with it whatever you want. They're saying things about us that we certainly wouldn't say about us. But I am tempted to say, I'm thinking about how they say that these words in our mind cause us never to really hear or understand each other. And I'm reminded of the Tower of Babel, that myth about how we got language, and then we never couldn't understand each other. So, something to that. And I'm also reminded of what Eastern mystics would they would describe the mind as being the monkey mind, and that we must kill this mind, so to speak. Not, there's all kinds of meditations to try to get beyond all this. Well, we call it beta consciousness, which is the language, the constant thinking of this. Being in. We think of it as being in reality, in being ordinary, everyday reality, but actually it's just being caught up with a lot of distractions of life that don't really allow us to sit back and take a look and see what's really there in our reality or in the reality around us. So they're saying things that's very much in line with Eastern mystical thought. Okay? Very interesting. Wordism. Okay, so they mickle out.